We could watch this one. I could play this one. I just got done, and my charts are looking pretty good. I made some mistakes today on what I was doing. I probably might have been in the 150 weight class there for pulling it down. These are all different portfolios. Those are my specific points. They're already moved over. I think I closed down one of them so I can restart it tomorrow like I did Monday with all of these. Some of these were positioned to catch, but they really didn't. This morning stood up, so I didn't get into the pocket. So I had to run around and make sure I caught all three of these so that they were working. And again, I'm just generally running in halves here. So even if I catch, you'll see Comcast in there. It's kind of down a little bit, 3, and Arc and Bio, whatever. I put those in later today after I was way up on that position that I had. But I wanted to close out of that. I didn't close off at the top of the top of it. I probably should have. I got lucky today in the way that the whole thing kind of floated a little bit, at least from my perspective. Um, Thinking into the equation about what was up and what was down. Maybe if I was looking at these when I would have looked at it different. Who knows? But again, those are 122 points or something like that up, and those are all kind of free and clear points because I've changed out all of them. So I'm either broke neutral because I closed down, or I'm positioned in on like 2 stocks. I think that's Comcast, and this one is the 2. Yeah. So you can see that again. I'm free and clear under it for where I really am. That I'm out like that, and that's really cool. That's what I was looking for on the day. I learned a lot about the button push-ins and how to set that up so it's a nice faster thing for myself. I feel more comfortable about when and where I lattice them in. If they didn't go through, how to correct and adjust as quickly as possible to get them back in there. That makes me feel real good. As far as the chart work I was doing, it's good passive stuff for what I was trying to run today, in and out, up and down, trying to cover percentages, listening to numbers that they kind of call. So when I'm up, I was up 33 this morning on one of them or on all of them because of the way it was, but I positioned them in weird because, the volumetrics I put in, I was expecting a dip in this morning, and I didn't catch that. What was those big coins I had for myself stood up, and so I had to position in, wait a couple of minutes, hunt that bunny rabbit, make sure I positioned in there just on one of those first early ones, and then I was going to catch it and wait for that little while, but she kept tearing, and I felt like running with her, and so I did that for a good long while, 10 o'clock lunch, and when I had a nice strong portfolio, things were kind of homogenizing out between the 2 positions that I had on each of these, that I did that. And you could do this on one portfolio. It's just going to change your position. So I would have hit the points all the same way, but it would have condensed out on one screen, and I wouldn't have had to done that differential and work. Now, I'm Freedom American and observe whatever version I want. And again, as a game theory here in paper trades, that's a fun way to do this. This is, beneficial and useful. Well, charts, and otherwise you're going to do good. And later on, I can't rebuild this exactly. I can't put back into those positions, but just like you do today, just like I'll come back in tomorrow on some of these I hat, J hat forms of it, that you can see that that's always going to happen. It always has and always will. But in a gold, here we got that sinusoidal wave to the digital tech on what's going down in here. And in a lot of ways, that's what I'm doing. You see this share in it, that there's physical gold, that there's an ETF about the metrics on gold, but essentially they're a vanguard. When coin teams like these get together in whatever form that they are, Bill Gates and Elon, shorting each other, going on, as long as that wasn't the vanguard in that standard, you can imagine that's a nice little chip if you can see that the gold vanguard is down. Something is up as far as your volatility and treasuries, your equities, and your bits and your fruits that come into there, whatever core metrics that is. They're just a binary real set short of the market creating a Z or a T function to that. And so when those are up and down, that's essentially what you're doing on the very small scale here. But again, these could be 3 individuals contracts that I'm just keeping track on one cell phone. This one would have been mine, and or whichever version of that I'll commoditize later at the end of the week and or program so that it puts it into this form that then you can say, well, in a digital wallet like that, it's fairly safe. Nothing's going to happen to it because I've repositioned inside of there and I pulled out what dollars there were to always stay under that while making money at this rate. You know, that the stocks that I'm playing are the weights and plates, $25 to $75 or 25 to 100. And in the triangulation of that, I'm roughly in that I can cover 10%, make $10 kind of thing that it does. And that's a nice clean metrics, right? And that's why a lot of the market uses it. Or at least that's the pattern I'm figuring out for Ender Game here, dealing with the phalanx or whatever the hell they are. Anyways, yeah, and those can be little nanobots. And again, $100 a day, 5 days a week is a job. I covered 122. I might have got lucky. That might even help fluff me till tomorrow to average me out when I'm doing this in and out. I would have loved to clean out all of these and been green, and at the very end of the day started it like I did today. That's not how that played out because I was negative in a few, and I want to leave those for tomorrow morning comparatively to how I start. Now, which one of those will I start with? Well, Tony, sometimes it's going to matter about my debt ceiling, organization, field theory about bones here, and how I feel the best way to handle that would have been that whole decoherent entanglement thing. So anyways, that's my note.